Okay, I see you now.
All right.
Got it.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start with a few things I already discussed in the previous stream, but it's good to know. Um, when you have glow stick full full screen like this,
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to minimize it. You can press the F11 key on your keyboard, and it will allow you to make it smaller or larger. This is useful
Uh-huh.
sometimes because you'll see a little bit further why this is useful. But yeah, so this is the main window. This is the lobby with all of the different movie sets. Um, there will be more movie sets to be added here. We call them movie sets, but they're really world templates, levels that you can use to make movies or take pictures or tell stories, right? A couple things that we changed this week. One of them is that if you look at the bottom right corner, right here, we added the documentation that we're setting up for Glowstick. So it's a user guide. So if you click here, a browser window is going to open, and this is going to um, take you to the user manual. So some of these pages are still empty, but we're working on it. All right. So you'll
I
find
see online documentation, settings, and information.
right here. So if you
Uh,
online documentation, if you click that, that will open your browser with the user guide or the user manual. I have it open here
okay.
on the screen.
Okay. See, I
Yeah.
see it now.
hmm
Uh,
So
the user guide,
hmm
installation,
yeah.
getting started,
hmm
everything like that. Okay,
Yes.
got
So
that.
in here we have some videos that will teach you how to use glow stick, like moving the camera, doing different things. It's good to take a look at the documentation here because it explains a lot of the common questions of how to do things and how to use glow stick. But I'm gonna go over those now anyway. All right, so this is the lobby. This is where we have all the movie sets, and this other page where it says my projects. These are your projects, right? So when you create a movie, that's gonna create a project and it's gonna be saved in this section. So this page contains all of your personal projects. So no one else can see the projects are on this page other than you, right?
Okay.
And then here in the settings icon, I skipped this, but here, if you're having problems with the computer, it's a little bit too slow or not moving well. Play with these settings. Usually, lowering these two will improve the frames per second, but at the cost of lower quality. So I try to always keep these up. Um, and then, yeah, that's it. On this page, you'll see that there's a filter system here on the left side. This is not working yet. So if you click on this, yeah, it's going to select things, but nothing's going to happen. Eventually, this
Okay.
is going to kind of filter your projects by whatever selections you have here. So if you have, I know, the disco, only, the projects that were built in the DAS disco will show here. But that's not working yet. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna go back to create, and let's see. Let's choose something. Okay, let's do this one today. Okay, so in here you can change the name of your project. Um, you don't have to. This is going to create a new project. And what do we do here? One thing that we changed since the last update, which was Tuesday or Monday, this icon, the camera icon, now is unlocked by default. So you can move the camera right away. It used to be locked by default, so you can move the camera. So you had to click on this icon to move the camera, and I'm moving it with the mouse, with the right mouse button.
Uh,
All right, I'm kind of rotating around that way. The letter Q will make the camera go down. W forward. E
E
is
goes
up, yeah. S goes backwards,
backward.
A goes left, and D goes right. You can also use the mouse arrows. I mean the two arrows on your keyboard to rotate. I like using my mouse. Now, when you're in a place like this, you see that some objects you can select, others you can't. So I can't select this container, but I can select this one. So anything that you can select in your scene, you can animate, and you should also be able to apply a texture generated with the AI texture tool. All right, so let me see. Let me move this a little bit up. Okay. On the toolbar, let's discuss the tools on the left. So the time of day, this is very simple, very easy to understand. You adjust the sun or the moon, and you have the weather system here. So, cloudy, partly cloudy, rainy, thunderstorm, snow, sandstorm, and all of those things. And here you have filters in case you want to make your movies black and white or super saturated or vintage looking. I usually keep it in none. We still have to add more filters to this section. Now here, this is the collections, and these are pre-made objects that we give to everyone for free. And you also have this icon that says My Assets. This is where you can look for the assets that you have uploaded, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Here we can close this. At the moment, you cannot. Okay, here we go. All right. At the moment, you cannot delete the custom assets, but you will be able to do it pretty soon. Anyway, so all right. So what can we do here? We can modify this. We can add more objects to the scene, and we can bring characters. Let's say, for example, that you have, one of your custom characters, either a character that you made and you send us, or an NFT character, or any character. We can use those characters here to tell stories. I have access to most of the characters because I'm testing a bunch of characters here. But let's say that I want to use. Okay, did you guys see that how that card disappeared when I placed this character?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bug that we're working on fixing. So if that happens to you, trust me, it's frustrating. We are working on it. All right. Actually, and the card didn't really disappear. It just got moved way, way far away from the camera. So if we go looking for it, we can find it, but it's useless to do that right now. Anyway, so we have characters here, and the characters, you can select those from the list of characters, and you can apply animations. Some of these animations are still animations. Others have motion. They have different categories depending on the color. We are working on adding a search button filter here, so that you can search for example, for all of the dance animations or all of the walking animations and running, so different categories, and that should be coming this month or next month. You have some animations with objects. These don't work with all of the characters because of the size of characters. So if it's not available for your character, it will show like this one grayed out that you can't select it. Yes. All right. Now, in terms of characters, you can also create your own character with the Ready Player Me plugin. This will open the Ready Player Me avatar creator, and you can create an avatar here. Change the clothing, the different facial features, and all of those things. And once you're done, you just try this one out. I'm streaming, and oops. All right, so this is the character that I just picked up from Ready Player Me. Okay, and then because I already had an emote selected, it just assigned it to that character automatically. which is pretty cool. All right, so let's see. All right, next we have the AI tool that we were talking about it just a few minutes ago. The AI tool is supposed to, let's say you want to do, bricks, whoops, bricks, and let's say you don't want metal on the negative. Once we fix this tool, it's going to deliver better textures. Because right now you see it's just delivering this stuff. But you should be able to apply that to anything on your scene. So I should be able to apply it to that. So I select an object and I click on the texture, and it applies the texture to that. All right.
Now, do you have to lock the object in place before applying the texture?
No, you don't have to. I like locking the objects in place to prevent them from moving. But you don't have to. See? All right.
Okay.
Especially when you have a lot of objects close to each other, it's good to lock them so that you don't move them by mistake, or this bug that we have doesn't move the object for you. Yeah. So in here, let's just jump into the timeline. I added some videos. Let me show you. Well, I'll show you in a little bit. But the timeline, this is kind of a longer thing to explain. But basically, what you have here are two different cameras. You have your editor camera, which is this one that you have here, and then this is your render camera. Now, if I look at this window, you see how when I go back to the collections, that window stays pretty much in the same place, but the UI covers the rest, right? So in this camera, it's meant to be for you to set up your scene, right? And once I start moving away, I can see this other camera here, and that camera is the render camera, right? Now the render camera is always going to follow the editor camera if you don't have any keyframes. So for example, if I click the timeline icon here again, it's going to reset the timeline, and you see that now the render camera, it's in the same position as the editor camera. All right, now if I go back here, I position this camera here, and I click the timeline again, it's resetting that camera to this position. So if I were to go now to the export button, and export is going to export from this position. All right. Now, let's say that I add a keyframe here to do a simple camera animation. So this is where the camera is going to start, in this position. I move it forward. So we are rendering at 30 frames per second. That means that 60 frames, it's going to be 2 seconds. All right. And now I want this camera to move forward and sideways, and to tilt up a little bit when it's at 60 frames. So I'm going to add a keyframe. And now if I rewind the camera, it's going to have that animation. Right? Now, because I have keyframes here, this camera now is the editor camera. Now this camera is moving independently from the render camera. These two cameras are separate now. The reasoning behind this is that sometimes it's just easier to move objects when you're looking at it from this point of view, rather than from your camera point of view. So let's say that I want to, get way closer and then up, and I want to add another keyframe here. See, it's a lot easier to move that way rather than with the numerical panel. But it's it's whatever works for you. But that's what it's meant to do, right? Now in here you can animate anything on this list. You can animate. Now you would have to add those objects to this list. So let's say that I want to animate this. Let's see, this traffic cone. This traffic cone right here. Let me see, where is it on the list? That traffic cone is that one. You see, I selected it here, and it's selected here. If I add it to the timeline, now I can animate it. So let's say that I want that cone to be in this position, and then when it gets to here, I want this to, for some reason, to move, and oops, and to get bigger. Right. And now that's what's going to happen here. Right. So this is the timeline. Pretty much you can move, you can rotate, and you can scale objects in here, and then keyframe them, animate them. And then if this is the clip that you want to export, then you just click here, select the resolution, the format. Would advise to use MP4. Different sizes here, different resolutions, and the different quality settings, and then the length of the video. Now, when you're rendering, you'll notice that right now the camera is in this weird position. We're not seeing the same thing that we were seeing in here. Ignore that. It's going to render this camera. So whatever you see in the render preview, that's what's going to render. So once you hit render, it's going to process. It will take a few seconds depending on the complexity of the scene, and then it will save the video in the downloads folder of your computer. All right, that's it. All right, any questions so far?
Well, that gives me a good place to start. Like I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I haven't, like I said, I haven't spent a lot of time with this software, so it's been kind of a little bit more helpful than me like kind of hunting different documents.
I thought it was too. I was hoping, can you start from scratch again and just do a different scene and just run through it? Not as slow as you did, but I just want to, because I was like going as you were going. I kind of just want to see all the steps one more time.
Sure. Let's do that. All right. Let's choose a different setting. Let's just choose this one. Okay. So here we are. Like I said, you can move the camera. It's unlocked by default. And let's see. Just position the camera here. I'm gonna lock the camera so it doesn't move. Just the lighting a little bit. Now I'm gonna bring a character. And let's see. I'm gonna bring this character in here. And I'm gonna bring an object from, let's say this, like one of these letters. Let's say, I don't know, good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right. Now from here, let's say that I apply an emote to this character. Something like, I don't know, let's just say traffic guard. All right, let's say that I don't want to use the timeline. I just want to render this. Let's say that this is the video that I want to render, and I don't want to go through the timeline and do keyframes and do any of that. From here, I can go directly to the export button and export this. So one little trick is that when you click the render now button, whatever this animation is, that's where it's going to start from. So you see, I'm gonna click it when the hand comes down, boom. Okay, this is the point where it's gonna start rendering. And it's gonna render 240 frames, which is that's equivalent to 8 seconds. You see, I was able to render a video clip without going to the timeline. So if you're just trying to do something faster, this is a better way of doing it. Now, if you want to add more complexity to your scene, you want to use the timeline. Just change that emote that is bothering me because the arms are broken. Let's see. Oh, reactions. All right. Now, going to the timeline, I'm going to select the camera. Let's say that this is the starting point. This is where I want it. I'm going to add a keyframe in here. And then I'm going to push this thing forward. This is about a second, like 30 frames. 60 is about 2 seconds. And now I'm going to position the camera closer to the character. Whoops. There we go. Now I'm going to position the editor camera here, and I'm going to get this camera closer to this character and up. So this is going to be my final position of the animation, and I'm going to click Add Key in here, right? I'm going to refresh the timeline by clicking the timeline again. Now I can see those little dots. Those are my keyframes. Okay. Now I want to export this video. I'm going to click on the export button. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter now, about 5 seconds, and render now. All right. Any questions?
No.
You good?
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see that right now we can only export like one clip at a time. That's just the current state of the tool. Eventually, the same way that we're adding keyframes here, we want you to be able to add like different animations to this character in the timeline. So let's say that this character starts with this motion, and then it's going to sit down, and then it's just going to do something else. So you can sequence those 3 animations in here in the timeline, and then export a clip that has a little bit more variation. At the moment, this is like the V1 of the tool. This is what you can do at the moment, but we have a lot more functionality in line for this. Now I want to show you guys a different use for Glowstick. So this is pretty cool to export videos quickly. Now let's look at 2 things. One, importing custom objects. For example, we have in here all of these different text, letters. But what if we want to do something custom? Say for example, we have this really cool character, Mooney, right? What if we, instead of saying good morning, we want to add, something like, let's say Mooney, or something custom to my character or my group or something. So you cannot do it inside Glowstick, but let's say that you have Blender, and yes, Blender is a little difficult to learn, but I'm going to show you something very, very quickly here that I think you guys are going to like. Let me look for that file. Second. All right. I have this file here, and I'm going to share this file with everyone. This is a Blender file. All right, so I have this 3D text inside Blender, okay? And let's say that I want to export that text, import that into Glowstick, and I want to make it, I don't know, blue, purple, right? And I export this from Blender in GLB format. All right, it's been exported. Going back to Glowstick, and I'm going to upload it here as a 3D object. So this is that text that I just exported. Open. It's going to take a second, and now it's here. All right, so this is the way you import any 3D object into Glowstick. It's the same way, right? So if you have a 3D text or you have a 3D object that you downloaded from somewhere or you created, you can use this uploader to upload it here to Glowstick. And now let's say that I don't want to export a video. You guys already know how to make a video. But let's say that I want to take a picture. Well, two ways of taking a picture, right? I can do like a screenshot from my computer using the snipping tools, screenshot. That works. But I can also use the photo mode tool, which is a new tool that we implemented yesterday. So you go back to your projects, to that same project you were in, and you can click on this icon here. This is going to open player mode. So here, it allows me to take my character and explore the environment with my character, which I think is really, really cool, right? And these are the letters, right? Now, let's say that I want to take a picture of this character in front of those letters. With the character in here, I press the letter P on my keyboard, and this is going to open the photo camera, right? Now, there are different settings in here. We can explore all these settings, but just going to give you a quick rundown. This first tab is going to allow you to zoom in, roll your camera, change the distance, of the camera. This one allows you to change the brightness, temperature, if you want a warmer feeling of the lighting or cooler, you can adjust it there. Tint, same thing. There are more options in here. This one is very important. It's the character rotation, so the character will look at the camera. And you have more color grading options here. But this one is my favorite because this one allows you to do an autofocus. If I turn this thing on and I double click on the character, and you see how the background now is like out of focus. So that's giving the scene a more cinematic look, right? And if I increase the size of the sensor in here, see how it gets blurred out in the background, but the characters, is in focus, right? So let's say that I like it like this. I can adjust the camera a little bit, go back to the first tab and change the rotation to something like that. I can move my camera up and down, left and right. But let's say that this is the photo that I want to take. Now, I'm going to press F11 because I want to show you something. Press F11. Wait, hold on. Take a picture first. I'm going to close this. Press F11. I'm going to take another picture. Now see when I press X, you see this alert on my computer. This is going to tell me where that picture is being saved on my computer. So that's a great way for you to find your pictures once you because they're downloaded to your computer. So, but if you have Glowstick in full screen, you won't see that alert. So that's why I wanted to make it a little bit smaller for you guys to see. Now, what I like to do here is that instead of modifying the pictures in this folder, I would just kind of copy it and paste it on my desktop or somewhere else where I can access them and see something like that. All right, and that is the photo mode tool. You guys have any questions?
It gives me a good place to start. Like,
How'd you get him to move again from the settings? How'd you get the character to move to do the movement? Is that from the start page?
From in this mode, like running around, or do
Yeah.
Okay.
The mode. What was the mode?
It's called player mode. So if you, let's say that you're here in your projects, you have to access that tool, you have to be in your projects, right? And you see that when you hover over, you'll see this kind of character running, this icon here. If you click, so check the difference. If I click here, the scene is going to open with this character, right? Just walking around. Now, if I exit this and I click somewhere else in the same thumbnail, it's going to open in movie mode, right? So this is going to have the same character, but now what you have is just the camera. You can move around. You cannot walk around with your character. Now you can select the character and you can assign an animation to that character, but you cannot walk around with this character, right? Eventually what we're going to do is that everything is just going to be one mode, and then you change from third person, which is your character walking around, or you just want to use your character as a non-playable character like this one. Everything is going to be integrated into one mode, so you don't have to go between like opening the scene in one mode or the other, but this is the way it is at the moment. Any other questions? I want to show you one more thing, if there are no other questions. All right, check this out. If I go in here, this is just the island. This is the island place. I'm gonna lock my camera because I'm going to open the Kraken AI tool. It's this icon right here with the octopus. If I click there, it's gonna open Kraken. Now Kraken is going to take that image, so that's 3D scene that we were just in. It's going to take a screenshot, and it's going to use that image with this text prompt. It's going to use the combination of the text prompt and the image to generate a new image. There's a couple of videos in the documentation that explain all the details about Kraken. But in general, what you do here is that you say what you want to generate, what you don't want in the scene. Let's say I don't want any humans in the scene. And these are the models. So you can think about this as different ways to generate the image. So some of these models are better at generating humans. Others are better at landscapes or animation style or illustration. So it's a combination of like using a model and a style for your generation. So pretty much I'm going to say Vision XL, which is the default, and it's an environment. And I'm going to increase the strength of this image because I want the final image to be kind of closer to this image, but I wanted it to be something else. And this is going to take a few seconds, probably like 15 seconds. And what I want to show you guys now is how I can take this image out of Glowstick and then back into glow stick and use it as a background for a photo, for example, or for a video. All right, so this is the image I just generated. I'm going to download it. All right, and I'm going to exit this tool. All right, now I'm going to go back to Blender, and I'm going to open a different file that I have here. It's this one. I'm also going to share this with you guys, and don't get intimidated. Like, well, Blender is really don't have to do much other than changing an image to make that work. So, oops, hold on. Don't save. Image plane. Sorry, you're around?
Yeah, I'm here.
You know what? I don't know if Blender doesn't want to. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah, we did end
In
4.0,
4.0, yeah, I was trying to open. All right, so this is just a plane in Blender. I'm going to select this. Let's see. Going to wait. I'm going to go to my shadings. All right, I'm going to assign that image here. I'm going to look for that image. Open. Downloads. This is the image that I just exported from Glowstick. It's right here. I'm going to export it out of here as a V2. All right. Now I'm going to go back to Glowstick, to my projects, to the photo studio, and as you can see, this is a different image I had in there. I'm going to upload this is the image that we just exported out of Kraken into that scene, and I can use this as a background. Let's say I just want to take a picture with my character, or I want to, make a video of my character kind of looking like it's in this place. Kind of another use for the tools. So, you can do, an island. You can do a futuristic city. You can use your imagination and do any background that you want and import it back into Glowstick and use it for your movies or use it for your pictures.
I don't when I pull up Glowstick,
Uh-huh.
I don't have the Kraken.
You don't. Yeah.
I don't have the Kraken symbol. But
Okay.
it just goes from like asset to AI.
Yes, because right now it's for by invitation only, but I'll send you.
Okay.
I'm gonna activate it for you. Okay. If you
Okay.
want, send me your. You have a ticket open already, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yeah. So if you send me the email that you used to open your account, that's all I need, and then I'll just get your user ID, and then we'll turn it on for you today.
Okay.
All right. All right. Any other questions from anyone else? Nope. All right. All right. Well, I think this is. I'm just gonna wrap it right here. All right.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks.
All right.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
Bye bye. Thanks.